Live on a Monday. Glad you guys are here. It's the 29th of September, 4:30 Eastern in the late afternoon. I'm Bobby Trosset. As always, this is where I bring you Baltimore sports and beyond. I get to tell you finally about my new Command Center gaming chair, the Zen Purple Kaiser 4. We'll tell you about them in just a bit. Thanks to And a Seat for the opportunity to work together. I'll tell you more about them again throughout the course of today's live stream. If you could on the way in, please like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership. The guest lines are open. I have a slew of content. I'll get to as many calls as possible. I have a link to join the show live on camera pinned right now in my live chat. And again, a lot of content to get to as well, including the fact that John Harbaugh, during his press conference earlier this afternoon, admitted that the Chiefs exposed his team. I'll tell you and share those thoughts coming up in just a bit. Multiple injury updates drop, including a catastrophic one for Nnamdi Madubuike. Elsewhere, Chris Long thinks that Lamar Jackson may very well have lost a step, and there'll be more to get to throughout the course of today's live stream. Without further ado, let's dive right in, because the elephant in the room is, as you see on the screen, the Ravens have 10 different players that are dealing with injury. Nnamdi Madubuike, Broderick Washington were placed on injured reserve over the weekend. So up until an hour or two ago, you're thinking, okay, at the very least, both of these players will be sidelined for 4 weeks, which left the door open potentially for a return this season if you're Nnamdi Madubuike. Not so much. His season is done. This is how John Harbaugh talked about it earlier this afternoon.
It's like, and just if I'm trying to explain it in the best way I can in terms of what I'm allowed to tell you. Like, a lot of that is things that he needs to address with you guys, in his time. So I really can't speak for him, wouldn't want to. Those are questions that would be best answered by him going forward. And he may be still getting some information on that as well, but leave that for him to answer.
It's been ominous since we first learned that he was dealing with a neck to begin with, and now the ominous feeling around Nnamdi Madubuike gets even more ominous in terms of, and again, you hate to speculate, so I want to be careful, but given the sensitive nature that comes with the neck in the sport of football, you have to wonder just how serious this is for Nnamdi Madubuike moving forward with his football career, and that's obviously secondary to his life. So again, this is a season-ending neck injury for Nnamdi Madubuike. It's a big blow for Zach Orr's defensive front. It's a big blow for Nnamdi himself. And again, while Broderick Washington avoided season-ending injury reserve, according to John Harbaugh, Nnamdi Madubuike does not. Let's continue on with the updates. I'm sure we'll talk about the significance of losing 92 many times throughout the course of today's live stream. Marlon Humphrey exited yesterday with a calf injury. Ian Rappaport noting that he's expected to miss a couple of weeks. Not as bad as it could have been. All of Baltimore's soft tissue injuries appear to be week to week, so nothing major. But given the state of this overall organization, and you saw the graphic that I had up on the screen a minute ago, I'll return to it in just a second. They need all the help they can get. No Marlon Humphrey for the next couple weeks. What about Roquan Smith? Also coming in here from NFL Network's Ian Rappaport says that he was diagnosed with a grade 2 hamstring strain. He's going to miss a few weeks. So the Ravens will get even younger defensively than they already are. As for Lamar Jackson, he's dealing with a hamstring strain as well. Don't know what the specifics are of it, but it's a hamstring strain. That from Adam Schefter earlier today. And obviously, if you've been following along, you know that this offensive line is not doing its part and has Lamar looking really uncomfortable, looking really unsure, indecisive, taking bad sacks, ball security issues, right? Lofting up footballs when cover zero comes in and he's got a DB staring down his face right down central. It's just, it's bad right now. He's been sacked 15 times through 4 games. He was sacked 23 times all of last year. Here is Chris Long on not only Lamar Jackson, but the current state of the Ravens from his perspective.
my big takeaway is like, holy shit, what happened to these guys? You know, maybe the second half of the season last year was smoke and mirrors for this defense, but I do think Roquan Smith looks older. I mean, he didn't even finish the game, right? I thought he looked older last week. I'm starting to notice a couple things with this Ravens defense where you're starting to feel like maybe, you know, the way we can kind of explain away Kansas City. Well, they got a rookie left tackle. He looks pretty good. They got a rookie left guard or a second-year left guard. He just moved in from tackle. They'll be a work in progress. Their best screen guy is out, Rashee Rice. Their vertical element guy is out. The defense, they're working through some things in the secondary. But you can kind of see how they might find a way to round into form and look like a playoff team. The Ravens, for me, it's like, yeah, you could get some guys back, but how many guys? I mean, remember a couple years ago they lost like half their team? You know, so I don't know if this is a pattern or what it is, but the most concerning thing about the whole deal is like you don't have a great defense. Guys are dropping like flies, and you ask a lot of your MVP quarterback. You know, you ask a lot of Lamar Jackson. They've asked a lot of Lamar Jackson year over year. You know, whether it was like, hey, we don't have the receivers for you, you got to make it happen. Or, you know, it's like watching them play the passing game. Everything takes so long to develop. A lot of it is on his shoulders to create. And what I'm starting to see is, I don't know if he's, God, I hate saying this because like I'm going to get clipped and everything, but has he lost a step? I don't mean he can't throw the football at a high level. It's so ironic because, you know, the detractors of Lamar Jackson talk about, well, he's not a pocket passer. Bullshit. He's not a great thrower of the football. Bullshit. He just runs around. Bullshit. But the running around is a big part of his game, especially in an offense where things take a fuck ton of time to develop. And now what you're seeing is we saw it today. Like Kansas City had some late ads in the rush. Kansas City had some guys that got him down that, you know, like when I see him break contain and I see like a Drew Tranquil, not taking anything away from a Drew Tranquil, trying to track him down or beat him to the sideline. Like a couple years ago, it's not even a question. Like a couple years ago last week when Nowoski's facing him up in the middle of the field, like I think he gets out of that. And so not to like oversimplify it, but I kind of wonder if like, hey, Lamar Jackson in the later stages of his career, and he could just be dinged because he left with a hamstring, no questions asked. He could be dinged the first month of this season. But I have noticed, and I'm not the only one who's noticed it, just a little bit of a loss of a step. And I don't know if he's dinged. I don't know if it's just the natural. I didn't know people like him aged. You know, I didn't know like Lamar Jackson would ever like lose a step. And maybe this is a little bit knee jerk, but it feels like when it's time for him to make that magic that so often has bailed his team out, he hasn't been able to make it, not with his legs. So
I think he's dinged. Let me be clear here. I think he's dinged. Clearly, the hamstring was the reason why he exited the game, did not return. John Harbaugh was asked if he would have gone back into the game had the score been more within reach. And Harbs was quoted for saying as follows: no, there was no way he was going back in the game. The injury precluded it. There was no way he could go back in the game. I know Lamar, and the way I know Lamar, if he could have gone in the game, he would have been in the game. That's how Lamar is. I can assure you he would not have been able to go back in the game under any circumstance. Okay, there is video that backs up this statement. While the highlight and the replay doesn't necessarily show something that's clear and obvious, clearly after the game, caught by this sideline footage of a fan that I saw on X earlier this morning. I'll go ahead and mute it and also blow it up too, just so we can all see this. Clearly, Lamar is laboring. I'll just run that thing back from the top. And watch Lamar get off the bench. There he is, number 8, right to the right of Isaiah Likely, who was not targeted, by the way, yesterday in Kansas City. So, again, I just want to be clear. I think he's dinged. He may have been dealing with his dinged up state physically for weeks now. And that might be a part of why he has been a little indecisive, a little hesitant, a little happy feet in the pocket, little gun shy, and obviously not playing the way that we're accustomed to seeing when it comes to Lamar. Jeff Darlington, ESPN reporter, reiterating a similar sentiment. He tweeted out earlier, watching Lamar slowly limp to the team buses after the game, I'd have a hard time believing he could have entered the game, even if it was closer. Not to suggest any level of seriousness, but his exit was clearly more than precautionary. Take that for what it's worth. The reality is he's playing behind an offensive line, I think right now, where there is clear distrust. Guys, Lamar has already been sacked 15 times this season. That's through 4 games. He was sacked 23 times all of last year through 17 games. It's problematic. It's taking a toll. It's having a cumulative effect on whether it's psychological, physical, mental, or anywhere else in between for Lamar Jackson. It's a big problem. Taurus, call your ass into the program. The live chat has a pinned comment right now. Call in. Adrian, I'll come to you in just a second. I got time for Taurus today. I promise you that. And so the reality is the Ravens are in a state right now where they're out of excuses. And quite frankly, they're at a state right now that I think this is what should be discussed. You can point the finger all you want. You can sit here and hope and pray for a deadline acquisition between now and November 4th at 4 p.m. Eastern. You can hope and pray that that laundry list of injuries somehow, barring something miraculous, swings the other way on the pendulum. But I think the reality is what Mitchell Schwartz got at recently. And Mitch is a former Super Bowl champion with the Kansas City Chiefs. And we had him on the collective last Tuesday. By the way, Jeff Zaribek, Cole Jackson, and myself, as always, here the last couple of months, we will have our collective episode coming up tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern. Looking forward to hearing what both of those guys have to say. But Mitchell Schwartz was asked about, how do you value and measure this Chiefs win over a lesser Ravens team is essentially what some of the conversation's been. And that's the current state of harsh reality in Baltimore. That you've got guys, former linemen in this case, like Jeff and Mitchell Schwartz saying, hey, I know it's the Ravens defense, but as if to say like Kansas City is starting to round into form. That's the state of the Ravens defense. They're looked down so significantly enough for it to be like, hey, let me just throw this out there real quick. We know it's the Ravens defense, but, and then they make their statement. Like, that's a sad state of reality to be in for Baltimore. And in Mitchell's case, here's his quote. Again, this is about how you value this win from a Kansas City perspective, knowing that the Ravens have a slew of injuries. And Mitch is like, sure. And this is also the healthiest the Chiefs offense has been. If we're going to do the Baltimore is so injured thing, then we have to do the Chiefs offense was missing their top 2 wide receivers and a rookie left tackle coming off an injury in college in weeks 1 through 3 thing too. And I think that's a fair point. And I bring it up because the days of excuses are long over in Baltimore. And that starts with the head coach. Changes need to be made, and they need to be made swiftly. He stood by his defensive coordinator, Zach Orr, today, as you would expect. And maybe, just maybe, there aren't any organizational changes that are forthcoming. Rest assured, though, even if they were at full capacity and full strength, given their track record against these Chiefs, as you can see here, Mahomes and company improved to 6-1 in their head-to-head matchups with Lamar since he was drafted and since these two started matching up. It clearly is, as Lamar once put it years ago, the Ravens' kryptonite, whether it be traveling to Kansas City or just straight up facing them in general. And that is where they stand. That is the harsh reality. The Ravens fall flat, whether they're fully stocked availability-wise or not. And until they do something about it, they're going to be the inferior team. regardless of whether or not there's a talent gap roster-wise. And I think we all agree that on paper, and again, what does paper do at this point? Not much. Talent gap only gets you so far once the bullets are flying in the regular season. Guys, I want to say thanks to And a Seat. You've been probably noticing my new gaming chair setup here. It's the Zen Purple new Kaiser 4. And I wanted to share a thought from them. They were kind enough to send it to me for my new command center setup here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Let me tell you a little bit about it. Maybe get you a little incentive in there if you're looking for one for your office as well. Taken notice of in my comment sections recently, I do in fact have a brand new command center set up here in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I'm once again working with the folks at And a Seat. It's a Zen Purple Kaiser 4 chair. Of course I had to go with that color. Take a look. I'll show you the tutorial setup in just a bit, but Sarah and I spend countless hours at these desks, whether it's game days, whether it's the day after games, whatever. It's 6-day work weeks for the next several months, and comfort is everything. And I had one of these chairs in Baltimore, and I had to get another one when I moved down here to St. Pete. So just a couple weeks ago, I went through the setup process. They send instructions. It probably took about 45 minutes. I was taking my time just so that it was done correctly. I had some music on in the background, just a weeknight where I didn't do a multi-stream day. So I had a little bit of extra time. And this is obviously the time-lapse version just for the convenience of this video. And I'll run that thing back as I tell you about some of the features that comes with this thing, because the technology is through the roof. They got cooling, heating, and massage features built in. Your backrest recline options roll from 90 degrees to 135 degrees. You got 6D armrests. It is so comfortable, and it's exactly what I need for football season. So if you use code Bobby, and I'll bring you to the site right now to take a look at all the different color options that are available, and you toggle over gaming chairs, I have a direct link, by the way, in the show notes. So new Kaiser 4 is what they sent me, and I went with the Zen Purple option. As you can see, there are plenty to choose from, whether it's just black, brown, orange, maroon, green, white, pink, you name it. I went with Zen Purple. Couldn't be happier with it so far, a couple weeks in, and I feel like I barely even scratched the surface with the amount of features. By the way, as you can see over my right shoulder as well, let me just go back to the main page here. If you want a little bit more head cushion, that has like a magnet on it, and it'll go like right over this And a Seat symbol right here. So again, code Bobby gets you $30 off your next purchase. And thanks to And a Seat for the continued support and help me out as I'm on the road doing a little bit of travel remote work down here in St. Pete. All right, a little bit long of a read there for me, but you guys get the drill. And but very pleased, very comfortable these days. I'll drop the link right now. Well, it's already in the show notes for you if you'd like to go check it out yourself. Again, that is code Bobby for $30 off the Kaiser 4 gaming chair. It's brand new. I got my purple Zen color as well, which I felt like was a symbolic thing to do. There you have it. Just drop it into the live chat, and you can go visit the show notes if you're interested in learning more for how to get yourself a Kaiser 4 gaming chair. To the guest lines we go. Again, we're talking through a number of things, including where the Ravens stand right now, overall health-wise. Nnamdi Madubuike has been placed on season-ending injured reserve. His year is done with a neck, and obviously it's ominous, especially for his future. When you think about how this kind of sprang up and the severity that could be attached to something like the neck in the sport that is a car crash when you're in the trenches like Nnamdi Madubuike has throughout his career. It's a big loss for the Ravens. Best wishes to him. Hopefully he's able to get some clarity on his availability moving forward in life first and foremost, and then on to his availability for football hopefully one day. Broderick Washington avoided season-ending setback. He's dealing with an ankle. Kyle Van Noy continues to deal with his hamstring. Travis Jones ruled out yesterday in Kansas City with a knee. Pat Ricard's calf. Not a lot of clarity around that at all. Lamar dealing with a hamstring strain. Ronnie Stanley, an ankle. Roquan Smith's going to miss a few weeks with a grade 2 hamstring strain. Marlon Humphrey, a calf. He's going to miss a couple weeks, and we're still waiting to hear more on Nate Wiggins and that elbow after, speaking of a car crash, boy, it was something else. Want to get your reactions today. bringing you on as you came in. Torres thinks he's first just because he popped into live chat. You ain't first. It's chronological. Wait your turn. Adrian, welcome into the program. Thank you for being here today. Give me your thoughts on the state of this Ravens organization, where your head's at right now.
I'm going to be honest, Bobby, and hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to be honest. I'm very scared. Like, my wife and I plan to go to the Rams game for our anniversary. And right now we're looking at selling those tickets because we don't have any confidence that this Ravens team will put up a show. What got me was, I don't care if we lost. It was how we lost. We got belt to asses. And I'm going to say this is for 4 weeks that we've been belt to asses. I've not seen any get up and go. I've been seeing a lot of being too cute when we don't need to be. And just a lot of gaslighting. Like, we do not have our best players out there playing at all. Because to me, it's just certain things. I'll even start with why King Mitchell is not playing, which King Mitchell could give us a different dimension that would help not just Henry, but also Lamar of getting those quick passes and go. We got the O-line. Falele throws off the organization and the balance of the O-line. Everybody can see that. How come Harps can't see that? How come the coaching staff can't see this? The defense has not been good for, let's just call it, we're going into 20 games plus of or as our D coordinator, and everyone will, and they'll say, oh, we had the best defense in the second half of the year. But before that, it was complete dog ass. And that's not being changed right away unless Harbs, and I've said this for a long time, I think he's lost the locker room way before this season. And he just needs to move upstairs and bring somebody in with fresh ideas, a fresh voice that can connect with these guys. Because right now, they don't seem like they won't even get up out of bed for anything.
Adrian, thanks for the call, brother. Hang in there. Appreciate the commentary. John Harbaugh was asked about Zach Orr and whether or not he has confidence in him at this point in the struggle that's been 4 weeks of defense so far this season.
Confidence in all of our guys, including Zach, our players, our coaches. I watch our guys every day. I watch how they work. I watch how well they coach. I'm in meetings. I watch the meetings. I know the schemes that we're running. I know the soundness of what we're doing. I understand who's, what we're up against, from week to week and play to play. Even in this game, this is a challenging game against, good offense. They were healthy. They got their guys back. And complementary football-wise, defense was put in some tough spots, field position-wise for sure. And I think that had something to do with it. We got some stops early in the red zone with some short fields, and then we didn't play as well in the red zone. They made a couple plays in there that they ended up getting touchdowns on. So, that's what you do. You believe in your people, and we have really good people and good players. I thought a lot of the young guys stepped up. They got their opportunities that had never played before, and went out there in that environment and played well. You look at the individual performances, there's a lot of really good things there. And the things that, when I watched the tape, I felt better watching the tape. I can tell you that, a lot better watching the tape than I did standing on the sideline watching the game. I felt like there was a lot of really good play going on, and I think the things that were issues were very definable. And also sometimes the result of some real tight plays being made by them, in some situations. So those are plays that we just got to start making, get some turnovers, knock some balls loose, get some TFLs, create some things. We were a step from getting a couple sacks at times. I thought Pat did a good job of getting the ball out a few times, things like that. So, we're not too far away on defense. I really feel confident that we're going to play really good defense this year. I really am, and I know the fans hear that, and I hope they have a little bit of confidence in us that we've been down this road before a little bit. We do need to get healthy for sure. That's an important part of it as well. But also play with the guys that we've got, and let's go play some good defense.
I don't know if we've been down this road before. We can talk about 2015 all we want. We can talk about the first couple weeks and really the first 10 weeks from a passing defense perspective a year ago all we want. This is a different beast. And let me just reread for you, replay what John Harbaugh just had to say in terms of if he still has confidence in Zach Orr being able to turn around this defense, which is the dead last ranked unit league-wide. Quote, I have confidence in all our guys, including Zach. I watch our guys every day. I watch how they work. I watch how well they coach. I'm in meetings. I watch the meetings. I know the schemes that we're running. I know the soundness of what we're doing. That's what you do. You believe in your people. I felt better watching the tape. I can tell you that. A lot better watching the tape than I did standing on the sideline and watching the game. I don't know what that serves or who that serves, that comment, besides himself. We're not too far away on defense. I really feel confident that we're going to play really good defense this year. I really am. I know fans hear that and hope, I should say, and I hope they have a little bit of confidence in us that we've been down this road before. How do those comments land with you? Back to the guest lines. Again, it is in order of how you entered into the waiting room. If Torres would just sit his ass in the waiting room for 1 second, he would have been up by now. But Jack, if you're ready to go, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. If not, we'll go to Judah and Manny and Richard. What's going on, Jack? Welcome into the program.
What's going on, Bobby?
Talk to me.
No, I believe what John's saying to a certain extent. I don't know. I agree with you too. I don't think that we've been down this particular path with how like devastated the team is already and all that. But I think we should trust a little bit. I don't think we're gonna have to worry about offense like at all. I think it's gonna get back together. I think this week was probably a number of things like trying to mix in the play with Isaiah coming back, the run game. I think the answer is going to be Keaton in the run game. I think they need to. We saw it the season he got hurt. I mean, it was insane what he was able to do. He opened up a whole new game for them, and I think they haven't seen it at all with Derek and him paired up yet. That's what I think about the offense. Defense, I mean, I don't know at this point. I mean, how many starters do we have left? Starks, Hamilton. I mean, everywhere else, I don't see many starters left. So I think Jair's going to have to play now, and that's who knows what's up with him. I mean, Nate can't play. That looked like, I mean, I was thinking about it. Maybe he could have one of those braces on his arm, but I mean, even then, there's not a lot of people that can play on that defense. So it's next man up, and it's rough. And to your comment earlier, I don't think I saw something by Fox. I think the Cowboys are actually the best offense and the worst defense ranked. I don't know what news outlet but Cowboys were 1-32. But yeah.
Thanks for the call, Jack. Appreciate you, dude. Have a good day. Everybody's hanging in there on this Therapy Monday. He talked a little bit about the offense, so we'll shift gears to that. And depending on who has to say what in the live chat, in the waiting room and whatnot, we'll pivot as needed. But John Harbaugh has not held back from criticizing play calling yesterday. In some cases, he's referred to Todd Monken by name, which was last night. In others, he's just referred to it as coaching.
I think we didn't stick to the plan that we had. We had an idea how we wanted to approach their defense, and we didn't stick to it. You know, and I'm not happy about it. Neither's anybody. None of our coaches are happy about it. Especially, I'm talking about the coaches right now. You know, that was us. You know, so it was not a good job.
Short yard and more from yesterday, I should say from today's press conference, including how he admitted they were exposed yesterday in Kansas City.
Need more plays on offense. I mean, we've been in the 50 play range, you know, and that's the biggest thing. And you need more plays. You need more consistency, and definitely, I mean, running the ball is a big part of our plan in that game, and we didn't do it. You know, we just didn't do it. So part of it's the three series. We got into some drop back stuff there and got knocked off the field, and we had the two penalties that Bo's talking about, and the next thing you know, then we throw a couple screens. We hit some screens, but we didn't execute on those screens. And next thing you know, there's a 3-and-out, more of a legitimate 3-and-out, and then you don't have an opportunity to run the ball like you want to. But yeah, running the ball with Derek, running the ball justice. That was good too, and breaking some tendencies there with that. We like that too. So those are all things that have got to come together in a way that just is cohesive, and you start building a little rhythm on offense. I mean, we've scored some points, but this game, I think, exposed us in terms of not doing a good job with some of those things.
There have been multiple games against the Kansas City Chiefs that we all know very well that have exposed this team in recent years. They were 3 for 10 on third down yesterday, 1 for 4 on fourth down, and they almost got beat by a full 10 minutes in the time of possession game. Deshaun Davis lands the first super chat, and he writes, the craziest part to me is if you know we have a terrible offensive line, why do we have all these long developing pass concepts? And boy, do they ever. They take forever to develop. That's going to be a problem moving forward. Obviously, first and foremost, for Lamar, who's then subject to cover zero, unmarked men coming right up the gut at him. That's going to be a problem, especially now if he's nursing a hamstring over the next couple weeks leading into the bye week, which is just 2 weeks out. Captain Hard writes, Harbs threw Todd under the bus today, made a fan page for the show on X. All Voltrons are welcomed. Just another way to show my support. Helps to vent to others. Okay, I didn't even know there was a Vault fan page until right now. So apparently Captain Hard's putting on his recruiting hat. Back to the guest lines. And let's see if Taurus is ready to join the program. And if he is, what kind of smoke we got for each other here.
Come on,
Welcome
man.
in,
Come
brother.
on,
Talk
man.
to me.
Come on, man. You
Talk to
wasted
me.
time, Bobby. Ain't no
Go ahead.
talk
I got
to
a show.
me.
Hey, I got a show to
Hey,
do. I got a show to do first
We
and
got
foremost.
time. We got time. Don't try to rush me now.
I'm gonna have plenty of time for you in a second here. I got a show to host first and foremost. Give me your thoughts today.
Bobby, I wanna see how on earth you making your takes, right? The last few days you were just sitting there saying Kyle wasn't wrong in his statements. But now you just before the game started, you sat there and took your picks and rided with the Chiefs. So which one was it? Was Kyle wrong or was he right? Because the way it's looking and him admitting he was wrong, everybody is right. Bobby, you've been doing this for way too long covering the team, and yet I have yet to see you really call out Harbs for what he really is. Chiefs ain't dealing with this. Chiefs ain't never been low ranked like how we have. They dealing with other issues that Super Bowl teams deal with. Going at the head coach like Kelsey did. There's too many choir boys. Bobby, and you sitting there acting like this is just another season that could be a wash when that's not the case. We got a once in a lifetime QB that's about to be out the door. All because of Harbs. And listen to how he talking in the meetings. He doesn't look a bit stressed at all. And we going crazy here. Come on, man. That's all I'm saying, Bobby.
Let's
Call it for
unpack
what
this
it
one
is,
by
man.
one. Let's unpack this one by one. Why is there a direct correlation between my thoughts on Kyle Hamilton's words from last week and the reason why I picked the Chiefs to win, which they did? How is there a correlation between the two?
Kyle sat there and said the sky wasn't falling. So what are we doing now? Is it falling now, Bobby?
What do you want him to say up there, Taurus? He's the only one that's held himself.
Shut his mouth and play ball. That's what you get paid to do.
That's not how that works. Hey,
Please
Taurus.
tell me.
Okay.
We
You want to know how leadership works,
Bobby?
Listen, I'm letting you talk. You do the same. That's not how leadership works. Did he slip up? Did he put his foot in his mouth with the spoiled comment? Yes. Do I think he just clearly misinterpreted or misspoke? Yes. That's why he went ahead and apologized yesterday. It was a dual 2-part apology. Okay. First and foremost. 2, for him not to get up there, if he didn't get up there and defend his defensive coordinator, defend some of his teammates, and ultimately hold himself accountable after a 20 missed tackle performance on Monday night, then you know what we would have been saying? This team lacks leadership all across the defense. We didn't say that because Kyle was willing to get up there, hold himself accountable, face the music, unlike Roquan and a number of other key pieces did last night.
Let me say I agree with that last part by Roquan, but let me ask you this too, Bobby. Do you think Kyle would have apologized if we won the game for his comments?
Yes. Torres, wait, okay, let's get on to the second part of your point, because this is we're agreeing to disagreeing when it comes to Kyle.
I didn't say anything. I'll just shout by the response. But listen, man, my whole point is the sky is falling. We on the verge of having to blow this whole team up, and that ain't nothing to be proud about, because we haven't gone through that since we was fortunate 2018. Let's say that, and now we done fumbled it 8 years later. So my point is, Bobby, if you're gonna be covering the team and then say you ain't a fan of the team, please do your homework. And when you make it takes like that ahead of a Chiefs game or something, at least understand that we don't. Andy Reid has Harb's numbers. My point. This ain't nothing new. Anybody that's been a Ravens fan that really know this was coming. This was coming, and Bobby, I can't stress it enough, man. This ain't nothing just to bat an eye about, bro. Bashadi, we in full panic mode. It is state of emergency, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Why are you having selective hearing with me and my commentary over the last? Of course, no shit. He's had his number. I've talked about this time and time and time again. What are we doing here? No, I'm for real. Are you for real right now?
I didn't. Again, I'm gonna say it again. I didn't like how you not holding Harbs accountable for these. This is 8 years in, and we're still losing at the hands of Harbaugh. And you just like, oh well, Kyle, the player's not doing this. Oh well, Kyle, he walked back the statements. Man, forget all that. The issue is Harbs. End of the story. End of story. That's it.
We'll catch up
We
soon,
about to
brother.
lose our Hall of Fame QB because of this guy. But yeah, you good, Bobby. Go ahead, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for not letting me wait all day, man.
We'll catch up soon. I appreciate you calling in. The guy who thinks he's number one in the chat every single time in terms of order and whatnot. I call bullshit on a lot of the John Harbaugh commentary right there. And you guys know what is my biggest pet peeve: when folks put words in our mouths. Sarah and I, it happens to us all the time. We have been having the John Harbaugh conversation, okay, for the last 2 years. We've been having the John Harbaugh conversation for the last 2 years. Period. Since the AFC Championship game. That's what we've been having. They abandoned the run and collapsed and got beat at their own game 2 years ago, 1 game away from the Super Bowl. They consistently underperform when it comes to the AFC elites in crunch time, whether it be Buffalo in the playoffs, Buffalo on prime time, not including, of course, the Week 4 performance in the regular season last year, the Chiefs when all the chips are out. And that is a direct reflection of a number of things: coaching deficiencies, execution deficiencies, and everything else in between. Just because emotions are running high doesn't mean that we're going to throw around words and commentary and attach them to us as if we've been saying that all along because it makes us feel better. Anybody that's got a thought, call in and share it with me. Chuck Pagano along these conversations, along these lines. You go back to June during minicamp. He was asked point blank, would you ever get back into head coaching? And this brings me down the next road of, okay, if it is John Harbaugh's time to go and they do pull the plug in season, where are they going to go? Who are they going to turn to? Chuck Pagano is the only guy on staff that has legitimate NFL head coaching experience under his belt. And he was asked point blank, again, when he joined this organization as the secondary coach, an assistant secondary coach, and an assistant to John Harbaugh, if he ever had any interest at this point in his career of still being a head coach in this league.
Coaching again. Any desire to be a head coach again?
1 second. You know what, Matt? Hey, Matt. Yeah, you guys are testing the patience today, aren't you? Matt, instead of hearing what you want to hear and just tuning out everything else that's said within the channel, just know this. Last night, I simply said as follows: While I didn't feel like John Harbaugh should be measured and judged and ultimately fired for the way injuries happen, because that is out of his control, particularly given the changes that they made in the strength and conditioning department, letting Steve Saunders go after some disturbing trends health-wise popped up years ago, and they promoted from within. Scott Elliott took over. There's more specialized conditioning and performance and training regimens now, with injury history in mind, with position in mind, so on and so forth. While I don't think John Harbaugh should ultimately be judged for injuries, he should be judged by how his team responds post said injuries, and that is where he's missed the mark. This team has come up short from a lack of preparation standpoint, a lack of fight standpoint in key pivotal games like we watched yesterday in Kansas City, like we watched in the fourth quarter week 1 against Buffalo, like we watched in the divisional round against Buffalo last January, and there have been other times as well, okay? So if you guys want to come into the live chat today and just start spewing nonsense and attaching certain commentaries to us that are false and fabricated, you're going to be called out on it. And you just got that called out, Matt, all right? So think about that before you start throwing nonsense in the live chat. It's bullshit. Chuck Pagano.
In the NFL?
No, sir. No, sir. You know, that, again, I was right place, right time. Got the opportunity of a lifetime. Mr. Irsay, you know, God rest his soul and rest in peace. What a great man. He gave me an opportunity of a lifetime. All that I went through in year 1, stood by me, had my back the entire time. But you have no idea. Nobody has no idea until you sit in that seat. And you know, it's one thing being a position coach. It's another thing being, you know, a coordinator on one side of the ball. You know, you kind of live in your own little world, but, you know, sitting in that seat, you're kind of looking for the head coach manual. You know, 2 days after I was hired in Indy, presser was done and all the media was gone, and I'm going through Jimmy Caldwell's desk looking for the head coach manual, hoping he left it behind, you know. I looked at Tina, I was like, what the frick did we just do to ourselves? You know, so I loved it, you know, but I'd love just, you know, some of my fondest memories and best coaching moments were like the first time I was here and just being the secondary coach and having that room and that group and that bond. Head coaching, they all tell you got to stay involved.
You guys know the drill. Look, goes back to June there. Chuck Pagano, one of his first press conferences as a Raven, asked, you know, what inspired him to get back into coaching, and then point blank right there, you know, would he once again be interested in becoming a head coach? And he straight up said, no, sir. It was the right place and the right time with Jim Irsay and company in Indianapolis when he took over as head coach for the Colts. Why do I bring this up? Because, of course, inevitably, you start looking at different scenarios that could take place if, like it certainly seems as if they're on the brink of reality right now, of being in the position of losing this locker room, potential scenarios that Steve Bisciotti could potentially lean in on if this continues to go in the direction that it appears to be heading. And I penned out a couple scenarios earlier today. A, John Harbaugh's fired or perhaps transitions into the front office. B, Zach Orr is let go, fired. Chuck Pagano named interim defensive coordinator. C, no organizational changes. I know that was the popular pick. Or D, other, AKA call your shot. And so I just thought it was a correlation there. Just know that while things change and opportunities arise and you never know what happens in this league, Chuck Pagano is on record for saying that he is no longer interested in becoming an NFL head coach. Take that for whatever it's worth. Akeem, you are up next. If you're here, throw your head up on the screen if you're here, and you are here. Welcome into the program. What do you got for me today, brother?
What's going on, Bobby, man? I don't watch your videos as often as I used to, because I know when I used to listen to you, it was mostly getting on the Ravens. So I usually be listening to the Ravens to their app and, beginning of the season and, drinking that purple Kool-Aid that they give to us. And the season just it fell off the track. The train fell off the tracks. I don't want to listen to the app because they're going to give you the sugar down, the sky ain't falling. I said, well, let me listen to Bobby, see what he got going on, what's going on with you. Because for the most part, you're going to keep it real and upfront. You was talking to the one guy earlier about John Harbaugh, and I know you're pretty hard on him, to be honest with you. You've been like that for years. I remember you saying it's a couple years back that you kind of left the one organization because you was telling the truth about, like stuff wasn't going right. So you left and you did your own thing with your podcast now. So yeah, I just want to get back to the Ravens, man. They're about, the sky's falling. The sky's falling. Offensive line is looking horrible. Lamar ain't never been sacked, I don't think, 7 times in a game. And Lamar usually run. Defense, yeah, they're banged up, but man, it's crazy, dude. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, Akeem, too, a couple different things here. One, it's great to have you on. I don't think we've spoken before, at least not
No.
in the form of a guest line call. So glad you can be here. I love a good new voice and whatnot. Look, Torres just tried to put words in my mouth in terms of me apparently not acknowledging that the sky's falling. You're damn right the sky's falling right now. You're damn right it is. Does that mean that I think the season is over and I'm ready to throw in the towel and wave the white flag early in the third quarter the way the Ravens did yesterday in Kansas City? No, that does not mean I'm ready to do that yet because we don't know the significance of Lamar Jackson's hamstring. And I got news for you. If they can sustain health on the offensive side of the ball, okay, weather the storm defensively for the time being, go 3-3 by the grace of God over the next couple weeks leading into the bye week, courtesy of Lamar Jackson's grit, greatness, resiliency, so on and so forth, and they utilize Derrick Henry correctly, then they're going to give themselves a fighting chance to still make the postseason, given I don't want to call it soft by any stretch. It's been a murderer's row first 6 weeks when it's all said and done. But they're going to give themselves a chance to compete down the second half stretch. And so never did I ever in the last week, let's call it, not acknowledge that the sky was falling because it is defensively right now. They are banged up. They are not playing Ravens football, and they're searching for answers. They're at a crossroads right now, Akeem.
Yes, they are. I have one more question for you, Bobby. There's two, but one it's all on the same one. One, do you think John Harbaugh lost the locker room? And two, do you think Lamar still has faith in John?
Well, for starters, the first is what we discussed at length off the top of today's Vault live stream, because there was a report out from the Baltimore Banner that the Roquans and several other key leaders were nowhere to be found in the locker room last night.
That's not good.
Leaving essentially the short end of the stick to Kyle Hamilton, who had already done quite a bit of apologizing as it was, or at least a lot of accountability driving and facing the music as it was within the last week or so. Derrick Henry continues to be present. I believe that reporters are not allowed to approach injured players post-game. So that would exclude Marlon and Roquan.
Yeah, we're Mr. Podcast Man at.
Well, nothing's been popped yet. I think everybody's been refreshing the Marlon Humphrey and Kyle Van Noy YouTube channels to see if they have any content that's dropping today. But look, there's an indication to me based on the body language, based on the demeanor, based on the lack of accountability, and so on and so forth, that John Harbaugh's on the brink. It's hard to say not being there, right? And I'll be curious. I'm going to be leaning on Jeff Zaribek tomorrow night on the Collective for this exact question, Akeem. But so it's hard to say with pure confidence, but there certainly suggests that there is a fractured locker room right now that's on the brink of destruction.
Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate
All
you.
right, take care. Yep.
Guest lines are open today. A lot of people have some thoughts. We've got over 1,000 concurrents at the moment. If you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. I'll get to as many super chats as I can as they come in. Kobe Pruitt says, with Matabike hurt, does anyone think we realistically have a chance to win the Super Bowl without our only defensive lineman that was getting pressure? Haloti is not walking through that door. The cavalry isn't coming. I mean, they got to go do something between now and November 4th, KB, I think, to answer your question. I think that's the simple answer. And to go back to, when did I have this conversation? Was it Saturday or yesterday or whenever it was? They have got to strip some of their philosophies right now, right in the here and now, and be willing to part ways with draft capital, be willing to part ways with institutional philosophies. Go get a guy. You got to go get a guy between now and the deadline to give yourself a fighting chance. Because Lamar, the cumulative effect of the pressure cooker that he's been in so far through 4 weeks to play damn near perfect is starting to take a toll. Another one from KB. He says Kyle has been the only stand-up player on the defense. The leaders abdicated their positions when they left to him to answer for their poor play. Marlo and Roquan should take orders from him going forward. And another one from KB. Bobby, I got your back. You hear that, Taurus? You called Harbs out last night saying he was responsible for poor game day performance, but not for player availability. And on top of that, I think there was a reason why he tried to hire Jerry Rosberg for game day management, time management, and everything else a couple of years ago. Don't know why that deal went through and fell through, but think there's a reason. It's not a coincidence as to why they were willing to go and try and get their former special teams coordinator. Thanks for the comment, KB. Guys, listen to what Rodney Harrison had to say last night after this game.
Uncomfortable for me was when I was watching the Baltimore Ravens, I still see the same thing happening week after week. And when I say that, Coach, I mean the missed assignments, the blown coverages, guys peeking in the backfield, looking like this and trying to communicate and figure out, like, where am I supposed to go? And that's up to defensive coordinator Zach Orr. I like the young man. I think he did a great job last year toward the end of the season. But maybe he has to simplify the defense, Coach. I don't know, because I just see so many mistakes, and they're not playing 100%. It's almost like they look confused out there.
Yeah, we're not used to seeing them give up 37, 38, 41. That's not Baltimore Ravens football. And then offensively, they had done a great job. Lamar was taking care of the ball, but you go into Kansas City, your nemesis spot, interception, fumble.
Didn't you tell me something about Derrick Henry only carried the ball eight times
with just a few minutes
left?
How do
you
you
win
like
game, that, Jack, against a great team?
You don't win against great teams like that when you don't use your bell cow, particularly when it comes to short yardage situations. Got to have it moments on 3rd and 4th down. And as a result, they got what they deserved yesterday. 3 of 10 on 3rd down, 1 of 4 on 4th down. I get it when you're staring a deficit in the face the way they were in the second half. It's hard to consistently run the ball. They attempted to do so in the 3rd quarter before it got out of hand. And right now, again, the Ravens are lacking identity on 2 sides of the football. And through 4 weeks, that's not a place you want to be when you think that you're competing for not only, I'm not even going to mention Super Bowl contending right now because I don't think it's even relevant, but back to the guest lines we go. Nick, you've been holding for a while. I still see Richard and Julian and Trey and Judah and Manny. We're trying to get as many folks in as possible. I will prioritize new faces and names if I'm being clear. Love you, Manny, but that's just how it goes in here. Nick Marty, welcome into the program. Good to see you.
What's up, Bobby?
How you doing, dude?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I just, I just wanted to put my 2 cents in on this because I'm going to tell you right now, everybody's saying the sky is falling, but listen, they got to do something. They got to cut a limb off. And to me, like, in order to stop the bleeding, they gotta either cut somebody, make a statement, go trade for somebody. I'm tired of, Eric sitting there going ahead and collecting picks. And, look how many have not panned out this year. We got 2 guys on IR. We got a bunch of guys that they're not showing that they're worth, when we picked them. We could have traded for an impact player several different times for like a 4th rounder or a 3rd rounder, but he wants to sit there and hoard picks all the time. And it's getting really ridiculous. It's like, hey, that year that we should have traded for Derek, and he would have made a big difference. But the only way he can make a big difference is if they actually use him. You know what I mean? Like, they're not using him like they should. And it's like, what are you saving him for? You know, what are you going to save him for next year? And Bobby, I'm going to tell you right now, this reminds me of when the Colts, you know, years ago when they missed the playoffs, and then the following year they went to the Super Bowl and won it. Not saying that's going to happen, but I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't believe in the Kool-Aid. I wasn't drinking it this year. I knew we were going to take a step back on offense, and I had a feeling that we were going to be in third place. You know, if Burrow stayed healthy and everything, I thought, you know, the Steelers were going to win the division because everybody underestimated Rodgers. And, you know, I'm just keeping it real, man. Like, you know, I'm a diehard Ravens fan, man. You know, I'm a diehard Ravens fan, but I'm going to tell you right now, Bobby, it disgusts me when we're doing the same thing over and over again, giving up big leads, you know, choking against the Chiefs. You know, I blame this on Harbaugh for a bunch of reasons because, one, he let Spags go, okay? He could have promoted him. Instead, he went with Wink. That was a terrible move. He could have kept Leslie Frazier, didn't do that. You know, he moved on, you know, and did good for Buffalo for, you know, X amount of years, beat us in the playoffs. I mean, what more do we got to do, Bobby, to sit there and take this abuse for the malpractice of coaching's decisions? Because I'm going to tell you right now, the guy that they should have kept and made the DC was Denard Wilson over there for the Titans, because their pass defense isn't bad and everything like that. But I mean, to me, it would have fixed a lot of issues. I'm looking at, you know, next year, like, who would we replace with Harbs? And, you know, yeah, everybody's saying, well, Gruden or Rex Ryan. It's like, get out of here, you know? And, you know, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't see Lamar. I don't see Lamar finishing his career as a Raven. And I would hate to see that, you know, because, you know, I live in Florida, and, you know, I would hate to see him in, you know, a different uniform. And, you know, to me, like, the Rams have the assets to go ahead and trade for him if they wanted to make that big move, you know, because Stafford's in his last year. I mean, to me, it's, you tell me, Bobby, like, where do we go, man? Because, like, to me, it's like, do we sell the farm for next year, or do we try to battle through? Because I want to battle through, but I mean, to me, it's like, it's an uphill battle.
Well, if it's interim in season, which I don't think anybody's convinced that they'll be in a position where they're searching for a promotion to be an interim head coach. I just don't think anybody truly believes in their heart of hearts that Steve Bisciotti will pull the plug, barring something unforeseen in season, on John Harbaugh. So assuming it's not that, because if it was, clearly Chuck Pagano is the guy, even though I just had a clip up earlier on that said, you know, I don't have any interest in being a head coach anymore. I'm sure circumstances would change if John, for whatever reason, were to be canned in season. Chuck would probably take that opportunity, particularly if the team was in contention, or at least mathematically in contention. But let's say, for shits and giggles, it's after this season. I think you got to go young. You got to go young, and you got to go youthful. You got to go energetic. You got to go one of the top minds, like a Zach Robinson, for example, right? Somebody that is on the up and up, somebody that is similar, whether it's defensive or offensive minded. Now, some of you might be like, hey, the offensive infusion since Todd Monken came, and since Greg Roman and Baltimore and the Ravens and Lamar took the NFL by storm these last 7 or 8 years, has been nice. Some of you are probably like, shit, can we get back to our standards here and our principles and bring somebody that's defensive minded in? Because right now, they're the laughing stock of this, one of the laughing stocks of the league, from something that they've built a brand off of. They've built a brand of historic football on the side of on one side of the ball that is in total dismay right now. So as much as I would go think, go get a Zach Robinson type that has an offensive minded background, they may have to get back to the basics, to what made them an organization and one of the most respected in all of sports and all of football 30 years ago. And that was on the defensive side of the ball. So I'd have to think about who that might be. Obviously, John Gruden is an offensive-minded coach. Don't know if he's going to get an opportunity. Felt like maybe last year there was some buzz around his name in the hiring cycle. Ended up being passed on. And one thing we know about Todd Monken is that he's been passed on now in back-to-back hiring cycles. And that is all due respect to Todd. I love freaking Todd Monken.
I would not mind if Todd took the head position for interim and see how he does, and then promote T. Martin, because T does deserve a promotion. But I would like to see a tryout for T to see what he does for play calling. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm Miami Hurricane fan, diehard Miami Hurricane fan, and Chuck was on that staff in 2001 and all that stuff back then. And I'm going to tell you right now, Chuck is a player's coach, and he would probably let them freelance a little bit more when it comes to, hey, coach, I got an idea. To me, I feel like they're on pins and needles where they're so afraid to make mistakes. They play so back. They don't get up in anybody's face. We need dogs. We don't need no stupid Mr. Rogers nice guys, because I'm going to tell you right now, man, like, we got too many guys that, I'm sorry, I tackled you a little too hard, because I love Kyle Hamilton, but he went to Notre Dame, man. He's soft. He's too Mr. Nice Guy. He needs to step it up and take someone's head off, not in the right way, not get kicked out like he did against the Titans that one year. But my thing is we need guys like a Courtney Upshaw, guys like McPhee, guys that would get dirty and hit somebody in the mouth and make them regret it. You know what I mean?
I'm going to give you a few names, Nick, and then let you go, because I got a slew of different guests that are waiting in my waiting room right now. Okay, a few more names. Just, you're having conversations about future head coach possibilities, and just to wrap that up and put a bow on it, because again, I don't think that this is something that the Ravens are going to be in the position to do. And again, I'm not saying it's not the right thing to do. I'm saying that I don't think it's likely that Steve Bisciotti pulls the plug in season on John Harbaugh. But some names that are intriguing out there. Everybody's mentioning the obvious one, given that what just transpired yesterday. Steve Spagnuolo, of course, longtime DC. Excuse me, Jesus. Steve Spagnuolo. Did anybody get a hearing of that one? Jesus. Almost came back up on that one.
Listen, that's Celsius Cola, Bubba.
There it is. I almost
Celsius Cola.
The chicken Caesar wrap. I almost just had a second time. Jesus, right. Excuse me on that one. That was a horrific visual. But Steve Spagnuolo, of course, comes to mind. Don't know how realistic it would be for him to leave Kansas City. I mean, he's in the middle of a dynasty now. Of course, he wants to be a head coach, I'm sure, but they still have unfinished business there, and they're chasing after historic type of accomplishments there and overall legacy stuff. So don't know if he would leave. Brian Flores comes to mind. He's the Vikings defensive coordinator in Minnesota. And, if you wanted to go the offensive route, there's two names that come to mind outside of the Grudens and the Mike McCarthys. I'm talking about Cliff Kingsbury, just south of Baltimore in Washington.
I don't know about that one, Bobby.
You don't like that one?
No, his offense gets stagnant. Okay. I'd rather have Monken.
But you got to remember, though, hey, Kyler Murray and company ain't Lamar Jackson and two Hall of Famers in that backfield.
Yeah, but Lamar, you got to make sure Lamar's staying. You know what I mean? He's got to. You got to make sure he's wanting that. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be a lot of kissing butt to get him to re-up, because he might go somewhere else because he thinks the grass is greener. And I hate to say it. I'm just being real, though.
Names that are out there that are garnering, again, who knows if the Ravens are even in a position, right, to pursue this at some point this year. But the Floreses, the Kingsburys, the Zach Robinsons, the Spagnolos, that would be the classic. If you can't beat them, just
Joe Brady.
Join their team. Joe Brady in Buffalo.
Joe Brady is who I would like if I was going to get a head coach. I would get Joe Brady.
All right, Nick. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for the call, dude. Enjoy that Celsius. Trey Columbus, you're up next. Lot of guest lines. Waiting room is cooking right now. Over 1,100 concurrents. Thank you guys for being with me today. Listen to John Harbaugh last night. Talk about Todd Monken's play calling. He did not mince words.
Play calling, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm happy about it at all.
Let me be clear. This is on short yardage situations, early short yardage, 3rd and 4th down situations where they fell short.
I'm sure that Todd's not happy about it either. None of us are, So you got to look at that and decide what you want to run there, in some of those circumstances and situations. But, if they work, they look good. They threw the ball on 4th and short and 3rd and short a few times and completed them. So maybe we just need better plays. We need plays that are going to pop open. Maybe we've got to do a better job of game planning those plays. That's what I would say. I think that we need to put our guys in better position and give them opportunities to make plays in those situations, because in a game like this, you got to be aggressive. You got to go for stuff. And we didn't get it done.
Man, there goes the camera shot, just like everything else last night. Good God. Trey in Columbus, talk to me.
Hey, man. How's it going, Bobby?
What's going on, dude? What you got on your mind today?
Yeah, just being able to be a fan from afar. By the way, I enjoy your content, by the way. Just wanted to let you know that. But
glad you're here, man.
Yeah, that was me, by the way. When I tried to reach out to you when you came here to Columbus.
Oh yeah. We'll have to get that done at some point for sure. If there's another Vault Summit.
Yeah, that sounds good, man. We try to build a nice little community here in Columbus for Raven fans. So it's kind of been the ups and downs right now, as you can see, but it's just something that we've been trying to do for a little bit, for about a year and a half now. But what I have on my mind is pretty much the priority wise, like what Nick was actually saying, that kind of really irritated me is how we kind of went into this season and kind of went into every season after everybody's left from the original Brian Billick era of dogs, animals. Like, we had every bit of nasty type of players on the Ravens roster, and how it's changed is it's guys that John feels like he can control. He doesn't have to hear no talk back. Everybody's going to listen. It makes you think about the issues that transpired last year with Eddie Jackson, stuff like that. That kind of got to a point where I was like, man, I remember we had those issues back in the day with Ed or any of the players arguing with the coaches and just saying, like, what are we doing? I feel like John has got to that point of, like, all right, no back talk. Nobody yells at nobody. Everybody listen to me, and we're just going to do A-okay. And that's what's kind of trajected us to go downwards. I feel like it's just lost the nasty mentality. It's lost the juice, the sauce that everybody's used to, like Ravens are used to having, like just the bully mentality. And I feel like it's just been handpicked. It's not like, hey, Ozzie comes in there and drafts a defensive tackle type of attitude. Let's draft some nasty D linemen, holding nadas, stuff like that. We got to that pretty ball, defensive backs, wide receiver. Well, for EDC, trying to make everybody happy, the fans happy. Let's get wide receivers. Let's get tight ends. I mean, really, just the guys that can make the plays more than what we lost. I mean, is that kind of agreeable? Do you think that's the direction, like, John and EDC kind of transformed the Ravens?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. What I'm not used to is what we just watched unfold from a messaging standpoint this afternoon. John Harbaugh blatantly, and I don't mean to push this in a different direction, but as you started talking about what you just got into there, my mind started wandering on just how blatant John Harbaugh's criticism of Todd Monken was today.
Yeah.
And Ben Solak points out the elephant in the room, what they have not had an answer for twice within the last week. Monday Night Football feels like a goddamn month ago.
It does.
And it was a week ago tonight. It hadn't even been a full week since
hasn't.
Monday Night Football. And Ben writes, the Ravens offense is struggling a lot against mush, rush, 3 plus spy with tons of zone droppers.
Yep.
The pocket falls apart, as we've seen, because Fa'alele cannot pick up a cover 0 blitz. We saw it multiple times. An unmarked runner right down Main Street after Lamar. He either tosses it or runs for his life.
Yep.
Of course he looks like he's lost a step, Chris Long, because he's running rampant right now, and he's got happy feet for a reason, and there's a direct correlation as to why. Daniel's been great in the run, but pitiful pass defense standpoint, or a pass pro standpoint.
Pass.
Ben goes on to say the pocket falls apart, especially with Stanley out. Joseph Noteboom played over 30 snaps from last night.
Yeah.
And the mush rush, means Lamar can't cleanly break, contain, and warp coverage with the threat of his legs. We saw it on Monday night. We saw it yesterday in Kansas City. And if that starts to be a copycat thing in this league moving forward with the way this defense is currently constructed, they're in big trouble.
Big trouble.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
I don't know if that answered anything that you just wanted to kind of get at there, but that's where some of your commentary, you brought me down this. I know you were thinking more big picture.
Yeah.
But I saw this nitty-gritty thought, and I thought to myself, they need Pat Ricard back as soon as possible.
They just need a punch. They need that punch. And I just didn't like how we went into the offseason. Then it's going to be a defensive tackle. And then oversaturated with pass rushers that are average or below. But just that's all we thought in our head. So, and then offensive line, we just never cared. We've always just been in that, hey, I mean, that's an Ozzy thing, though. I think that's always been an Ozzy thing. It's like we just developed, and we just said, all right, he's going to develop. Daniel's going to develop. He's just going to be a great guard. He's just going to be just like everybody else. Like we've always, Marshall Yonda, 3rd-round picks. It's just the same process. And I think sometimes you don't hit all the time. You just got to accept it. Like, we didn't hit on Daniel Falele. We didn't. And we didn't hit on we didn't hit on freaking I don't know.
Well, how about this, Trey? You didn't replace effectively Kevin Zeitler. You didn't replace effectively Michael Pierce.
No.
You didn't replace effectively Ardarius Washington. All due respect to Malachi. I think he's drinking from the fountain, the fire hose right now. You've got 3 rookies, 1 on each level, that's logging considerable snaps against the 3-time Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Mike Green up front showed some signs early, showed some pressures, so showed some of that skilled up mentality. I saw a spin move or 2 in there, maybe a couple pressures in the first half, but he tailed off. Teddy Buchanan, of course, thrust into the starting position, weak side linebacker alongside Roquan. He's been caught in the rush a bit, having his fair share of struggles. And then Malachi on the back end. I mean, how many of those missed tackles was he contributing on Monday night against Detroit? And much as you want to have grace for these 3 players because they are rookies, and yet you got 2 first-round picks out of those 3. Let's be honest. Mike's a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Playing like it so far.
And they're not playing like it because I feel like now the tension's on them. They're as a rookie, a lot of pressure coming into the league. It's just like, when you're a high draft pick, or not in Mike's standpoint, obviously being 2nd round, but he knows he's a 1st rounder. When you're in Mike's standpoint, like, all right, you should be able to fill in gaps and just come in as a situational pass rusher when needed. When Kyle goes down, now you got to step up, and now we don't got 90. Now we're like, oh shoot, well, all right, really step up, and then we got guys on the practice squad just joining the team and just like, hey, it's my first day out here. So it's like when you got all that pressure on a whole entire like rookie staff coming in, like, all right, now Malachi, I know our Darius went down, you got it. I mean, we have all this help, but now does our Darius Washington look like a huge need at this point? Like that 3 safety rotation would have been a better situation going into the season. Yeah, because it just shows too much that when I don't know. As a fan, we all talk about it, like even in our Ravens community here in Columbus, when we all get together. The biggest thing, biggest pet peeve that drove us crazy is we notice what wins you the Super Bowl. We watched an easy layout of the Eagles just laying out. We got defensive line. Where trenches are going to beat your trenches, and guess what? We're going to win the game. I mean that's something that Ozzie used to instill, though. He always got the nastiest defensive line, offensive line. We always just had that. I don't know. And something with EDC is he wants to be creative. He wants to be like, all right, let's be a little high flying. Let's be a little exciting to watch. But at the same time, ignore the biggest issue in the room. Defensive line, the trenches. And the trenches was like, I mean, I like 90. I like Travis. But you can tell Travis is inconsistent on staying on the field. He's always been hurt. And there's nothing against that about Travis.
Thanks for the call, Trey. I think we just lost you there. But appreciate Trey in Columbus for his thoughts. And appreciate Prophet X for the continued support of the program. It's America's #1 sports prediction market. You guys probably have heard some of these reads in recent weeks. They've been supporting the channel for this upcoming and this current football season. Monday Night Football, of course, coming up tonight. Oh, I didn't even know that. I got a doubleheader tonight. That's how in tune I've been, engulfed, I should say, by this Ravens coverage. New York is in Miami. The Jets are in Miami. That game's tonight. And the Bengals, of course, without Joe Burrow, Jake Browning will be under center. They take on the Denver Broncos in game 2 of Monday Night Football. But as you take a look ahead to week 5, not too early to do so from a Ravens perspective, and see where the line is at given their injuries. They're 5.5-point favorites still at home against the Houston Texans. The over-under is set at 43.5. Guys, you'll get better odds than traditional sports books at ProfitX.co because you're playing against others, not the house. With ProfitX, you can request your own odds, play with confidence, and get super fast payouts straight to your bank, card, or even crypto. If you use the promo code BobbyB, you'll get up to $200 in profit cash on all your plays for the first 30 days. Again, that is code BobbyB, BOBBYB, at ProfitX.co. If you go to ProfitX.co, you can take a look at week 5, a must-win, if you will. Not mathematically, but optics-wise, a must-win for the Ravens. First half props, number of other things that you can get in on. Start winning real money, predicting sports. Terms and conditions do apply. I appreciate ProfitX for the continued support of the program. And yeah, I did see somebody in the live chat just a minute ago saying, wait, Nnamdi Madubuike is lost for the season? Yes, he is. John Harbaugh announced earlier this afternoon that number 92, his neck injury, is sidelining him for the rest of this season. It continues to be very ominous. Best wishes for him, because when it comes to the neck, it obviously comes with its fair share of concerns. And I'm not just talking about getting back to playing football one day. I'm talking about life. So I hope he's okay. Kobe Pruitt with a super chat today. He says, when we look back on it, the history may remember this time period as the Ravens choosing Harbs over Lamar's development. They let him hold on to Greg Roman for way too long, and they never invested in weapons when he was cheap. Well said. They're flirting with that kind of dangerous territory in terms of chronicling this thing years down the line. Saad Blitz says, I said we should have traded some of those picks to move up, that none of the Ravens picks after round 4 will make the roster. 1 of 7 is on the 53. That's exactly what Nick Marty was getting at. And certainly what I was suggesting earlier on too, related to stripping and walking away, not stripping, pause. Stripping the loyalty when it comes to organizational philosophies that have existed for years, knowing the degree of difficulty of this current situation. You got to go get a guy right now, and you got to be willing to part ways with some of your philosophies to go get said guy between now and November 4th. Nightmare Kilo writes, Trey ain't lying. Travis Kelce yelled at Andy Reid twice. You think Harbs would go for that? Marcus Peters did it. Where is he? Unsigned. Saad Blitz 34 writes, Todd Monken's offense worked best when we still used Greg Roman's run scheme. He did inherit some of that, by the way. To Saad's point, he did retain. I shouldn't say inherit. he did retain some of those principles, some of those pulling concepts. Pulling linemen, I didn't even read ahead yet. Saad was right there, one step ahead of me. Pulling linemen, misdirection, and options opened up the passing game. The mix worked vanilla, does not work. Appreciate you, Saad, and appreciate everybody for being here. Over 1,200 concurrents at the moment. A lot of chatter going on right now. Amir, you've been holding. Talk to me. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's good? How's it going, man? Can you hear me?
Good to see you, dude, and proud of you for wearing that hat given the circumstances.
Appreciate it. Can you hear me, by the way, Bobby?
I can.
Okay, perfect. So this is actually my first time being in here. I just came across your channel today, so you just got a sub out of me, man. I'm a local Baltimorean, been here my whole life. So I just wanted to touch on a couple of things with you. I do agree, right? We do need a defensive-based coach. My entire life growing up, I'm 25 years old, right? So I've seen Baltimore have great defenses throughout their entire existence. And one thing we've seen from certain coaches, like at the Steelers, for example, right? One thing that they have is that they always have a good defense. And so many times in having a defensive-minded coach, you can prepare your offense for those counters that are coming from the defense, right? And I think that as an organization, we've kind of let some of that go. We have to get more dynamic, right? Like you said on draft picks and spending money to get good players, right? The Biscotti family has been they kind of penny pinch, right? And we'll get a lot of guys as well out of their prime, right? We see how we'll get certain edge rushers out of their prime. We ended up getting Steve Smith out of his prime, right? Same thing with and so many times, even with Derrick Henry, right? And I wouldn't say Derrick Henry's out of his prime, but we get a lot of guys closer to the tail end of their career when they're cheaper. And so we got to get them while either they're early or end their prime. We just got DeAndre Hopkins. Congratulations. Congratulations. He's however many years in his career, right? And so we need a coach, to your point, right? We need a coach that's going to reflect the attitude of the city. I think many times teams are great when they reflect the attitudes of their cities. You look at Buffalo, right? You look at Philadelphia. These are blue-collar cities, right? The way they grew up making money in America. And at this point in time, we see Philly will play games, right? They got a tough defense. They wear down on the team. And Jalen Hurts, the quarterback who comes in and does whatever he needs. He might throw 5 touchdowns. Most of the time, he'll rush for 1. He'll throw 1, right? But at the end of the day, they work hard, and they're going to beat you throughout the game, right? Same thing with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh doesn't always get to the playoffs and play far, but they'll randomly win a couple games throughout the season that they're not supposed to because they are hard-nosed, right? We need a coach. Same thing with Buffalo, right? Same thing with the Lions right now. We need coaches that are going to reflect the attitude of this city of Baltimore. I don't mean they got to be rough and tough, but like you said, they got to be young at least, right, or developing, but they got to be exciting. They need to get the players driven. And many times you look in the sidelines, right, the players aren't communicating like they used to. The coaches aren't communicating like they used to, right? And this is going hand in hand with our losses, right? The teams that we're losing to now are the same teams that we're losing to in the playoffs, right? We get poor game management against the Bills. I understand that Derrick Henry fumbled, but the Bills switched to quick passing, tempo-based offense. What did the Ravens do to respond to that, right? And then we leave too much time. Josh Allen already scored in a minute going into the half. So we're going to leave for what? More time on the clock to go get a touchdown, right, at the end of the game? Doesn't quite make sense, right? You look at the predictable offense against the Lions, man. At no point in time have we had 2 running backs. I have yet to hear any person on here mention what's going on with Keaton Mitchell. I understand the guy's injury prone. There are times in which he doesn't end up on the field, right? At the end of the day, the dude's young. So if guys are going to be in the doghouse with Harbaugh, right? If you're going to have them in the doghouse, at least let them play their way into it. But there's no point in having them in practice, right? We got Rashid Ali and Justice Hill getting more minutes than Keaton Mitchell. Now, Justice Hill's a good pass blocker, sure, right? But at the end of the day, he doesn't have the running capabilities like a dude like Keaton Mitchell. He's the fastest running back we have. He's faster than Derrick Henry. And sure, we might say he's brittle, but we don't know. He hasn't been out there, right? And so what we need to do is take Rashid Ali up the lineup because we say we're using him as a running back, but he's only in on special teams. He doesn't run the ball at all. We don't have two running back sets. The Lions, as they're playing us, have both of their running backs out there, right? They are preparing and scheming against us. Each time we go against Andy Reid and the Chiefs, it's the same thing. Harbaugh goes against whatever our playbook is supposed to be, and he tries to do new stuff. Each time we don't prepare. There's a failure to protect Lamar right now, and a lot of the players, there's certain guys who shouldn't be out there. I watched the Lions, right? Marvin Humphrey was questionable for that game. And in the end, right, when the Bills get that 97 and 99 yards, right, to score, many of those plays, I'm looking at Marlon and he's not able to keep up due to these injuries. At some point, we got to just have the next guy step up, right? And it's the same thing with our defense. We have to be better. We've had injuries in the past. My apologies, I'm going off for a minute. But we've had injuries in the past and people have stepped up, right? And so I think the biggest thing that the Ravens have done in the past 10 years is a couple years ago, we gave Harbaugh that extension. In my opinion, that was our biggest failure. Now, I don't think that Harbaugh should be gone in season, but I think that we should be grooming some sort of replacement for him. And on top of that, Harbaugh needs to take ownership of the or hire. We do not have a defense because he chosen to hire someone who's not prepared. And so we need to demote or to linebackers coach or something else and get someone who's going to be able to compete against these playoff teams. We continuously get out coached. It's not about the talent. The Steelers end up not having talent, but make it to the playoffs because they're feisty enough and they got a coach. So my apologies for taking your time, but just wanted to pick your brain a little bit, Bobby.
Glad you did, man. And thanks for subbing up. And hey, as much as I think your point is valid there about the Steelers, the way they compete and whatnot, Mike Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game since 2016.
Agreed. Listen, agreed. He's in the doghouse too.
But
he's in the doghouse too.
Yeah,
he's in the doghouse too.
Amir, thanks for subbing in and calling in today, man.
Yes, sir.
Later. Appreciate you. Guest lines are hot, man. They're rolling, and people got a lot to say. Let's circle through. I got a walk and talk at 6:30. TBK, talk to me. What's going on? How about where are you at right now? This looks like somewhere between a dungeon, a wine cellar, and somewhere I don't want to be. What's going on?
Yeah, I guess you could call it the dungeon. What's up, Bobby? All right, man. So I see a lot of people that are trying hard to get you to admit that this all falls on Harbaugh, right? Stop it. This doesn't fall on Harbaugh. This falls squarely on the shoulders of Steve Bisciotti. Steve Bisciotti has the power and the power alone to get rid of Harbaugh. He's the one allowing Harbaugh to stick around. Okay? Look, you have allowed mediocrity to become the standard of your franchise. You're allowing people to talk crazy about your franchise, to call us paper tigers, to even your own players are talking crazy about your team. Marlon Humphrey, he's sitting there and going, "Oh, we're just not that good." Yeah, no shit, Marlon. Get the fuck off the podcast and start doing your job. I mean, bro, like, I don't understand. Like the business relationship here, right? They're too friendly. They're too friendly. Bisciotti, Harbaugh, EDC. I mean, shit. Harbaugh and EDC are neighbors, for God's sakes. Like, y'all are forgetting what made this franchise great. It was grit. It was toughness. You're not playing like a Raven. You're playing like children. I mean, like I said, when you start taking the focus off of football and putting it on the internet, putting it into podcasts. I mean, how many freaking podcasts do we need? We don't need podcasts. We need players. We need dogs. We need real players, like guys like fucking, Ray Lewis. You can only bring these guys into the team for meetings so many times before, if I'm Ray Lewis or Ed Reed or Haloti Nana, I'm sitting there going, what am I wasting my time for? I can't get out there and suit up anymore. Yeah, and you guys can't do the job. So what's the damn point? I mean, look, at some point, you gotta cut the cord. You gotta cut the cord, bro. And if you're not willing to do that, look, Steve Bisciotti is the guy. This is his words. He used these words in a press conference at the beginning of the season. He didn't say we want to win. He said I. He said I want to win, and I want to win now. Not we, Bobby. I. So if you want to win, get rid of fucking Harbaugh. You got to make the changes. This is your franchise. This is your franchise that you're allowing to be flamed. This is your franchise that is talking crazy about its own. Yeah, I mean, the Kyle Hamilton comments were insane. To sit there and call us all spoiled. It's not that we're spoiled. We've become accustomed to a culture in Baltimore football. And that is greatness. That is great defenses. That is hard-nosed players. And that's not what we have right now.
TBK, great stuff. Thanks for calling in, dude. I don't think you have before, so I appreciate it. I hope you do again.
Thank you. Thank you, Bobby.
See you, man. Yeah, it's a nice setup, too. Some of that lighting is good stuff. Listen, I got a 6:30 walk and talk. We got to cycle through this. I got to do a timer, I think, moving forward straight up, because some of you, like you do in the radio on 105.7 or whatever, are taking advantage of my allotted time here, and I appreciate that because I'm glad you guys are calling in, like Mac 4, who I haven't heard from in a goddamn calendar year. Yeah, we'll get down to you in just a bit there, Mr. Covington, Georgia. But listen, I've got 6 more calls to get in, okay? So 60 seconds or less, gentlemen. I'm going to Christian, TLM Gaming, more qualified than something, and then it cuts off. Manny, Richard, Mac 4, okay? 6 more. That's what we're going to do. If you could, in the meantime, please like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and try to help me get to 1,000 members in the Discord community, because all this dialogue that's going on right now, and by the way, I have a free link that's a pinned comment right now in the live chat if you want to join the Discord server. Mr. Loop is in the building, father of Ravens kicker Tyler Loop. Kobe Pruitt has welcomed him tonight, and I do the same. Welcome in, Mr. Loop. Hope you had a good travel, safe travels back from Kansas City. Trey Casey says, appreciate the call. By the way, just let the fans keep pushing buttons. That's another reason why they're fans. I'll take Flores as head coach. Okay, Columbus, Ohio's Trey Casey from the flock out in Ohio. Again, the Discord community is alive right now, and a lot of this dialogue will be carried over into that coming up. It is free right now. It is free to join by clicking on the link that's included in my pinned comment right now in the live chat. Christian, you are live right now. What's going on, dude?
Hey, Bobby. How's it going? I don't want to take much of your time here. So I'm a first-time caller. I'm a newer Ravens fan. I was born in 2002. And my father was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So it's kind of been an uphill battle when it comes to this. But yeah, I just want to give my 2 cents on the situation that's going on with the Ravens. I've been watching basically the entire Lamar Jackson era, and I've never seen something this bad. I'm just concerned that earlier you showed a video of Chris Long, how he said Lamar might have lost a step, but I don't believe that. I think he's dinged up. I think that something with that cramping in the Buffalo game might have popped up here as well with the cramping, and that could have led to this. But I do think that I agree with you when it comes to Harbaugh shouldn't be judged on the injuries and the availability of the players. He should be judged on how they respond. And we're going to see how they respond, because look how many rookies we are going to have on the defensive side of the ball, probably for this Houston Texans game. And we saw a lot of good stuff out of some of these rookies, like Keon Martin, the undrafted guy. Yeah. He looked fantastic. And the one silver lining I do think that a lot of the fans are feeling with how dejected the team looks is that a lot of these rookies that are going to be playing in this next game, they're going to want to make an impact. They're going to want to have a big impact on the game, and they want to like, they're going to have a little bit of more fight than what we've seen out of some of the leadership in this locker room, besides Kyle Hamilton and certain others. So I'm excited to see how some of the rookies respond. But if we don't have Lamar, and if we don't have certain key other people on the offense and the defensive side of the ball, I do agree with you that they're going to have to ditch some of their philosophy, go get somebody like a Quinn Williams or a Jeffrey Simmons or something like that.
Avon Thibodeau, Jalen Phillips, so on and so forth. You got to go get a guy, and I think you make a couple good points, Christian. Whether you like it or not, it's going to be baptism by, what's the phrase again?
Baptism by fire, baptism by fire, because not only are you going to have Malachi, Mike, and Teddy playing considerable snaps, but now you're probably going to see some Jay Higgins. You're probably going to see more of Keon Martin. TJ
Tampa will continue. He's a second-year player, and hey, let's see. He's not by any stretch a rookie, but let's see how much they use Jay Kummel. I imagine Jay Kummel is going to be used as well. So
And that's going to have a big effect on special teams because most of these guys are just playing special teams, and you're going to need other people to fill in on special teams if these guys are playing the whole Broadway.
Yeah. Christian, good stuff, man. Great to have you. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. TLM Gaming, talk to me. Oops. Oh, man. Somebody left the stream, and here comes more qualified than Harbaugh. You're under commando. What the hell are you doing?
Hey, man, I'm just here.
What the hell? I didn't even know this was you, Chef Trez. What's going on?
Yeah, sometimes I change my name up just for shits and giggles, man.
And your hat and glass. I had no clue who the hell was calling in. All right, hey, just because I'm trying to get as many, one, new names in as possible, and two, I have a walk and talk at 6:30. She just texted me saying that she's going to be there at 6:10. Okay,
hey, I'll keep it short and
no,
sweet.
I'm just letting you guys in on everything down here. Okay, I'm going on a walk and talk with a chick named Christine. Matter of fact, I'm going to call her as you give your commentary. I'm going to listen to both things at once. Okay, go ahead.
All right, fair enough. Watching all of this play out, I actually put a little bit more blame on EDC just for knowing what the defensive line looked like, offensive line looked like, and still not really addressing it. But the people who got injured, retired, left, or whatever, not really addressing it, or having other teams that would have key players or something like that available and just not pulling the trigger on it. I mean, you could have picked up a Kai Becton in free agency. You could have traded for the Texans left tackle Laramie Tunsil, and shoot, maybe move Ronnie Stanley to right tackle or something. I don't know. I mean, there are just options there, but for some reason the Ravens stay to their philosophies, and also the strange philosophy that always blows my mind, just coming for draft purposes. I don't know why we draft injured players. If we're drafting injured players and we know they're going to sit out for a year or something like that, I almost feel like you don't even need to draft them at that point. I mean, sure, you can get them as an undrafted free agent, but why spend draft capital on an injured player? That's something that it blows my mind. I still don't understand it. I don't think any of the injured players that we have drafted in the past couple of years, I'll even going back 5 years, have panned out. Adisa Isaac is injured again. Andrew Voorhees is getting his ass kicked on the offensive line. David Ojabo is David Ojabo. I mean, I don't know what the hell we're doing with drafting these injured players, but that's just my little rant. Coming more so after EDC, I already feel like John Harbaugh should be gone. I mean, enough has been said about that, but just also focusing towards EDC because I just don't understand how they don't address any of the clear issues that are just present. So
I think it's a number of good points, and it's just it goes right in line with, I think, what needs to be talked about moving forward as we get closer and closer to November 4th and the trade deadline. They're going to have to not only look inward with some of their drafting philosophies come April, but the way that they draft stock and stockpile these picks, right? And covet these picks, which you appreciate because you want to build your team that way, and they're prideful of it, and they believe in their area scouts, and they believe in their scouting principles, and so on and so forth. And they consistently hit on a number of day 2 and day 3 picks, although this year's class obviously has a lot of question marks around it right now, as you would expect it would this early on, knowing that there's a lot of guys that are going to be playing and are playing already through 4 weeks and struggling. But in order to go get a guy that, and we all know, not one guy is going to save this defense, but you've got to be willing to move away from some of your principles and maybe even overpay over the next month or so if you want to go get a guy. So, Chef, thanks, brother. Good talking.
Always.
Appreciate you. Guest lines are popping right now, and we really got to step on it, gentlemen. TLM Gaming, what's going on, dude? Talk to me.
Hello.
Good to see you, man.
What's up, bud? I don't know what needs to happen with the Ravens at this point. I've watched this team since.
Oh, no. TLM, where you at? Oh, you waited all that time, and he can't even get on. Mac 4 is in the house. What's going on, brother?
We doing?
How you doing, dude?
Hey, listen. I got three things in like less than 20 seconds.
Okay.
Number one, everybody losing their mind because I posted that the longest yard. Remember that with Adam Sadler?
Yeah.
When he sat on the bench.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. What did you post?
I just posted. He said what was going on out there on the field, and he didn't go back out there because the warden put a gun in his head, told me he was good. You remember that?
Yes. Where did you post this?
On Facebook and on my page.
And everybody's pissed off at you, huh?
Yeah, but Lamar hurt. So the second thing, Rex Ryan. How about bringing him in as defensive coordinator? Bring them back, but him and Harbaugh ain't gonna get along.
No, they're not.
And last thing, why did Rush throw on 4th down, 4th and 2? He had a man open to his left, and he threw it out of bounds. And that's all I got to say.
Was that Mark? Was Mark wide open over there?
Yeah, he was wide open.
Oh, I think I was already preparing for the post-game show therapy session that we did last night. Mac Ford, you're the man, brother. It's great to see you. I hope to see you again on a pregame shows coming up soon, all right? Covington, Georgia's finest. Oh, I wish TLM would call back in. He waited for so long and didn't have service when I popped him back up. Do me a favor. We got to be in and out, brother. She's waiting for me on the walk and talk. What do you got?
All right. Since you're talking coaches and everybody is qualified over here to be better than Harbaugh, because we are at this point. But I don't think we go defensive coordinator. I think we go offensive. You got Lamar and you got Derek right now. I would call Clay Kubiak.
Okay.
His father's Gary. We had him.
Yeah.
So he could actually muster a way better offense than Monken. And from scoring points, you actually adjust the defense towards that. Of just, you know what? Get us the ball early. Yes, there's going to be if everybody remembers the 2018 defense, but exactly the game that we had against Cleveland. We had like 2 takeaways, and that was with CJ Mosley, another dog that we were, Harbs didn't like because why?
Hey, you know what? When it comes to the head coaching conversation, this is obviously one that it's a tough one to be had right now because you just don't know whether or not Steve Bisciotti will actually pull the plug either in season or after the season. We know that he got an extension this offseason, which doesn't matter too much in the grand scheme of things. But the reality is that it has not been good enough. The excuses are long over in terms of whether or not they're in play. And the Ravens are reeling right now. And they're in a position where if Lamar can't go, and it's Cooper Rush, QB2, while he absolutely was an upgrade over Josh Johnson and something that I commend them for doing this offseason, he's not somebody that's going to lead them or at least allow them to weather this storm while they get healthy over the course of the next couple of weeks. The early bye week on what, 7? 5, 6, week 7.
Yes, week 7.
And so on and so forth. So I'll talk to you soon, brother.
Just a quick one.
Yeah.
If Bisciotti doesn't do it, consider the season over, but because even if Lamar doesn't play, trying to get healthy, the locker room mentally is out. They're out.
Certainly feels that way after last night and the Baltimore Banner report showing kind of, again, this lack of willingness to look in the mirror, hold a certain level of accountability. And when that's happening with your leaders, the majority of your leaders outside of Kyle Hamilton and the rookies that spoke last night, it's not a good look. Great to see you, brother. We'll do it again soon, I'm sure. TLM, let's give you another shot, my man. The connectivity.
What's up, bud? Are we good now?
So bad. What's going on, dude?
Nothing much. Are we good now?
Talk to me. Do it real quick for me if you could.
Okay, I got you. I seriously think Steve Bisciotti needs to blow this thing up with Harbaugh, because one of my friends have already said the same thing with EDC. Is he can't fire him. That falls to Bisciotti. And I understand that that EDC can only do so much to mask and cover up the issues with Harbaugh, but he should have been gone since 2018 during that Joe Flacco era. And it's long overdue. And I get it. Wink wasn't good. I can give that.
I liked Wink.
Who was our offensive coordinator long before? I can't even think before Monken.
You didn't like Wink?
I liked him when I like the blitzing. I like the aggressive that he had, but he was too aggressive and he didn't have the right guys to do what he needed to do
Okay, fair enough.
during that time. But or definitely needs to either fix something or he has to go to with Harbaugh. It's crazy. How many more offensive coordinators does Steve Bisciotti have to see? How many more defensive coordinators does Steve Bisciotti has to see before we say, hey, Harbaugh's the problem, he needs to go? And I think if, for whatever reason, Lamar Jackson leaves, I wouldn't be surprised that next season after Lamar Jackson leaves, he gets fired either during the season or the next offseason if Lamar Jackson leaves. But if they don't do something in terms of fixing his pass protection or the defense, Lamar's gone. And I don't want to see that. He's honestly the best quarterback we've had. And not just that, he's our best overall player, one of the best. And this has been the thing with the Ravens for years. We get these guys like Lamar Jackson that can do great when they're on the field. We misuse them or we waste them. And Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, I feel like we're wasting his contract. We're wasting the time.
TLM, thanks for the call, brother. Appreciate you. Hope to do it again. And thanks again for calling back in. Richard, are you here for a final word, Richard? You've been waiting for what feels like an hour. Oh, he pops right up. There's the boy. He's up from his nap. Mr. Wingman, talk to me real quick. We got a walk and talk, baby. And who knows, if she's got friends, you may have a walk and talk coming your way at some point. What you got for me?
I'll try to be quick. Today's actually my birthday. I'm still recovering from COVID.
Dude, happy birthday, man.
Thank you. So, I mean, the future of the Ravens looks bleak in my opinion. I'm going to try to make this really quick because I can't even really talk that much. But it all falls, everyone's saying it all falls on Steve Bisciotti. I don't have faith there because if you remember in the beginning of the season, Steve Bisciotti said, I wanted to win the Super Bowl. I wanted to win the Super Bowl for EDC, not Lamar Jackson. I don't think he gives a shit about the players. And the coaching staff clearly doesn't give a shit about the fans. With Harp saying people over they don't know anything at the other side of the bar, and then K Ham saying what he did. That's just a trickle down effect of what the culture that that John Harbaugh has. So, in my personal opinion, I see this culture. This culture has now gone the opposite direction of where it was when Harbaugh first came in. When Harbaugh first came in, it was defense was too toxic. Trying to attack basically belittling their offense. Now it's all the way the other side, where this entire team is soft. So I mean, I don't have a lot of faith. I mean, the way that I look at this, we have a chance of going 500, not making the playoffs, and then I could see Harbaugh being praised for that shit at the end of the year. He should be fucking gone, but I could see him being praised for bullshit. And I'm going to leave it at that. Enjoy your day.
Happy birthday, brother. Feel better.
Thank you.
Thanks, dude. Discord access, as you can see on the screen right now. We are coming up on 1,000 members. I would love for you guys to help me reach that number of 1,000. There's 955 and counting. Free access. It will not always be free. Right now is pinned in the comment section in the live chat. Would love for you guys to join. We talk Baltimore sports and a number of other things, and you get a little bit of a welcome shout out right here. Like I'm off my meds and Quetzalcoatl and D Crow for show and Cap 1033 and everybody else that's joined this community. And I appreciate you guys for taking part of it. Thanks for sponsorship by And a Seat, sending me this brand new gaming chair, the new Kaiser 4. Guys, if you use code Bobby, that's code Bobby, BOBBY, at andaseat.com. It'll take $30 off your next purchase. And thanks to a couple of you who just joined the Discord group. Look at this. Just within the last minute or so. Ticker Flipper. What is that? Ticker Flipper? And Uriah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you for joining the group. And thanks to And a Seat. Thanks to Prophet X. Thanks to all of you. Almost 2 hours of content and almost 4 total today. Lots of commentary on this non-victory Monday. Sarah and I will have more at length in tomorrow's Vault episode. That's Tuesday, September 30th. Guys, like the video on your way out. Subscribe if you could. Hit that notification bell and come hang out tomorrow inside the Vault at 12 noon Eastern. Thank you guys for all the calls. Thank you for your support and viewership. And I'll catch up with you tomorrow, Stay tuned for Walk and Talk commentary.